What's up, soldiers? Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. We're in the backyard, but we'll start off in the kitchen first. What you're looking at there is some jerk chicken. I'm going to show you guys how simple it is to make your own jerk dry rub at home without having the need for any preservatives and all that kind of nonsense. Stay tuned, you're going to love this one, man. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, quite a bit of ingredients here. The key, pimento seed or pimento berries, some of you know it as allspice. The key ingredient in any good jerk seasoning. We're doing a dry rub today, and the reason why we have so many different spices and all that is because I want you to get maximum flavor out of your jerk, whether it's chicken or fish or whatever you're doing. This rub is going to be a go-to rub. Now you can buy allspice powder already ground, but I'm going to use the mortar and pestle. We've got thyme, we've got ginger, we've got nutmeg, we've got cinnamon, we've got onion, and this is dehydrated flaked onion, not onion powder. I'm not a fan of onion powder, and I like the bit of texture it's going to bring into the game as well too. We've got freeze-dried scallions or chives, will work just as well. Brown sugar, black pepper, and this is a cracked black pepper. Almost got tight tongue there. It is not a fine ground. We've got garlic, and again I like the big chunky pieces of garlic which has been dehydrated there. And fresh out of my own little concoction, I showed you guys how to do this. That there is dehydrated Scotch bonnet flakes. You need Scotch bonnet in your jerk rub. There's no two ways about it. Almost impossible to find. So if you look at my previous videos, you can make it yourself. If you can't, use your favorite pepper flakes. Now, a lot of recipes online you will see use smoked paprika for that smokiness. Here's the thing. When I do jerk, it's on the grill, and I'm going to get that natural smoke. I don't need that. I don't need that in my dry rub. You know what I mean? So if you guys are going to be using this indoor in your oven, and you feel you need that smoked paprika for the bit of smoky, for the bit of sweet, by all means do that. I don't like it in here. And one more ingredient, bay leaves. Bay leaves and pimento berries, they got pretty much the same flavor. Same sort of flavor profile. So I'm going to crush some of these bay leaves. I'm telling you, when you use this rub here, you're going to be a champ, man. Now with the pimento seed or pimento berries, I'm telling you, man, crush it is the way to go. You need a mortar and pestle, so I'm just moving that over here. Shift all of that across. Just going to toss that in there. Oh yeah, a nice big. Now if you wanted to crush your black pepper in there, if you got whole peppercorns and you want to crush that, do that as well, yeah? I highly recommend that. And all you're going to do is put your hand over, because you notice it's starting to jump out at us already, and just smash and crush and get all your vegetations out. And as I crush the pimento berries, what I'm going to do is grab some of that bay leaf, crush it in there, and I'm going to allow that to get crushed in here at the same time. It will take a few minutes, so if you want to make things easier and you have a spice grinder, you can rock the spice grinder, especially for the bay leaves. It's going to take a while to break them down, but we've got a nice coarse consistency here. You can go finer if you wanted to, but all we got to do now is assemble it. You'll need a nice wide bowl, and basically all you're doing is tossing everything. Make sure you get everything out into that bowl and giving it a good mix. The full list of ingredients I use will be listed down below, and I'm using sugarcane sugar, a nice grainy dry sugar. The reason it has to be dry is because if it's one of the wet brown sugars, it's just going to clump and everything's going to go hard, and you really don't want that. Now we're gonna scrape in all of that pimento berries or pimento seeds or allspice, whatever you call it. Just scrape all of that in there. Now here is where things, you have to be mindful of the spice level or the heat level of that Scotch bonnet pepper flakes. I'm going in with 1.5 tablespoons, nothing more, because I know when I made it, it was insanely spicy, peppery, and I want to cough, I want to sneeze right now because of it. And the goal is to really mix this thoroughly, and you want to toss it into an airtight container. And whenever you have the urge to make that Caribbean classic, that Jamaican classic, your jerk chicken, your jerk pork, your jerk fish, you're gonna pull out a couple tablespoons of this, and I'm telling you, your neighbors, your friends, everybody who tastes that will be asking you, Chris, well, whatever your name is, I need that recipe. Yeah? Now you will notice I'm making a mess first of all, and I didn't add any salt to this. I don't think adding salt here makes a big difference or not, and we're trying to keep away from that high sodium diet that we so love in the Caribbean. So whenever you're seasoning your chicken or your fish or whatever, you can add it then, and in the amounts that's healthy for you, well, somewhat healthy. The one thing I would recommend doing is every time before you use it, give it a good shaky shake there, and you're good. Now as far as using this jerk dry rub, now be very, very mindful when you're using it. I'm going to be going in there with my hands at some point. That, as a matter of fact, I'm going in now. There's that Scotch bonnet pepper flakes in there, so you want to be mindful of that. Wear gloves if you need to. Yeah, brush it with some olive oil. It will allow for the dry rub to stay on there a bit easier. I know some of you do the mustard thing and all that, but the olive oil will work super. So all you will do now is let that sit, and then onto your charcoal grill or wherever it is you're making it. If you're making it in the oven, put it on a cookie sheet with a rack. That'll give you best results. A couple things I forgot to mention. I have it in a separate container if you saw me touching the raw chicken, and into here. It's not in the big container that I have it stored in. The second thing is, in the cuts that I made, I'm purposely going in there with that dry rub. That's going to go deep, so when you're eating that chicken later on, that flavor is just about everywhere.
Go check it and see what it looks like now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that is do a whole case thing. The garage is getting cleaned up every summer. But look at it still.
Another bin coming again.
Well, because of all of these need to go up on top, and every time Dan comes,
Let's chat for a minute about the placement of the chicken and the type of grill that you use. Now you can buy a high-end smoker and you can smoke these. These will be incredible. My humble opinion, a nice charcoal grill, and you'll be getting some lovely flavors. The other thing I want to mention is, and I'll show you what I mean, in the center here is the main heat. So we are doing around the perimeter of that heat, which is pretty much in direct grilling, and that simply means it's not directly over the heat. The reason for that is, one, we don't want the spices to burn. Those spices burn very easily and then they go bitter. You don't want bitter spices. Two, as you saw, we put quite a bit of brown sugar in there, and that caramelization, which we want, that is the reason why we put that brown sugar in there, besides the fact that we needed to balance off the fire of the Scotch bonnet pepper. the sugar, the caramelization, will cause it to burn easily as well too. So indirect grilling, put the lid on and let that go nice low and slow. My grill, I would say on the outskirts here, is going to be about 325 degrees or so. And all I'm doing is maintaining that temperature, moving the chicken away from the main heat source there, and I've been flipping it over, so you'll notice we got that lovely caramelization I spoke about earlier happening on the outside there. Those herbs and spices, they're doing their thing. I'm telling you, man, this is gonna be one of the best jerk chicken you ever have. Try that dry rub for sure, yeah? It's been about an hour and 40 minutes, and my chicken is almost done. You notice that nice crust that we have formed there. I'm still going to keep it on there for another 10-15 minutes or so. Make sure your chicken is fully cooked. It depends on the thickness and the size of the chicken pieces. But Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com, I just showed you guys how to make your own jerk rub at home. It stores well. It will last in that airtight container for at least a year. Now you want to finish it before a year, because remember, herbs and spices, they tend to lose its potency after a while. But do give the recipe a try. And last little thing I want to talk about is the skin. The reason why we left that skin on there is because it helped form the sort of a protective barrier while the chicken grills off. And that, yo, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it have a nice little, no, well, we can't hear it yet, but it's gonna have a nice little crust on that. Irie. What's up, soldiers? Don't forget to click subscribe. If you've already clicked subscribe, hit that bell notification thing. I want to all you missing out on the new videos, man. Come on, click.